Hey guys, it's Jonathan Henderson with Pressure Washing Marketing Pros, and I have the honor of having Matt Hyden of the Christmas Light Installation Pros Association, because I know that is a tongue twister, but the founder of CLIPA. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Very excited to be here and appreciate you having me on.
And I appreciate you for taking your time to go ahead and answer all these questions that I'm about to ask you, because a lot
Yeah.
of pressure washing businesses have questions about how they can get started in the Christmas light industry, and what better person to have than yourself. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, how did you get started in this industry, and like what's your background? Because I know before the Zoom call, we were kind of talking about your background. I know that you grew a marketing company to 6.5 million, which I hope to do someday, right? I know that you're from San Diego. I know all of that, but tell the people about you, how you got started, all of that.
So as far as Christmas lights, I started installing Christmas lights in 1998, probably before you were born, I'd imagine. I don't know. So I've been doing this for a long time. I started doing residential installs in San Diego. I worked for a company back then, just running crews and just getting my feet dirty with it. And then after that, I decided to just sorry, I got somebody coming in here. So after that, kind of put it on the back burner, started doing other stuff. I was still, in college at the time. And then just started doing other jobs, throughout there. And I went back into it really in about 2006. I bought into a company, owned that company. Since then, I've sold it. But then really dived back into about 2012 is when I really dove back into it. And we do commercial installs in Southern California is what we do now.
Okay, then. So, what is CLIPA, right? And what motivated you to start CLIPA as well?
So CLIPA is a Christmas Light Installation Pros Association. And if you say it enough times, you get used to it and it rolls right off your tongue. So I started that in 2017, and it was really just started as a Facebook group of installers helping installers. And that's really what it was, a platform of letting installers in this group, and the guy in Florida helping the guy in California, the guy in California helping the guy in Florida. What do you guys do in this situation type thing? And it just blossomed. It just grew from there. I had always been doing the trainings, training people for my former company that I owned. We did trainings. It was kind of an affiliate program. So we would just teach people how to start a Christmas light business, essentially, is what we taught them. And then we opened it up, in 2017 to anybody that wanted to get educated on how to hang Christmas lights. And, we like to teach people the way. I'm not saying everything I do is the exact right way, but I teach people what has made us successful in Christmas light installation. So that's kind of where we, blossom from there. Our group has probably about 6,500 members. Part of it, Christmas light, it's CLIPA Pro Tips Forum. Got about 6,500 members in that group.
Yes, because anybody in the pressure washing industry, I don't know how they don't know about you and your gang. You know what I mean? I don't know how they wouldn't know about you guys, right? So I know I've seen you guys at conventions such as like the huge convention, but one thing I didn't know that you guys had like, and this is just me, and I should have known this information, right? I should have known that. But this is
That's
why I
right.
want to disseminate this information to a lot of people. But you guys have conferences specifically for Christmas light installation, right? Like ClipACon, that's going to be coming up next year in 2023, right? And
Yeah.
that's and it's in Las Vegas. Can you tell me some more about that? Because I know you guys have certifications that people can get, training classes, training programs, like remote training where you guys can come out and train people yourself. So tell me a little bit about that, like ClipACon and all
Yeah.
of
Yeah. So we have two different aspects that you're talking about there. We have our trainings. We have our regional trainings where we travel around the U.S. This year we did 13 trainings across the U.S. and
that.
Canada. We're going to expand out in Canada next year. We're going to be up in Vancouver. Excited about that. But that's what we do is we do 2-day trainings, and we teach anybody that wants to get in the industry. We'll teach them how to start a Christmas light business, and we start with the basics. We start with what is an LED bulb, what is an SMD bulb, product knowledge. We don't just say, oh, this is what you should use. We tell you why you should use it. And we teach all the way up to sales and marketing, how to estimate the jobs, how to bid the jobs. And another thing with that, it's not just we'll train you and teach you and then good luck to you. We pride ourselves on ongoing support, and we really do. We're adamant about that. And we want you to be successful, because if you're not successful, you're not going to buy more products down the road. But we really want to see you become successful. And I stress it in my trainings. I say, use the tools at your disposal. And that's us. That's use us. We've been doing this for a long time. If you don't call me, I can't help you. So you've got to use the tools that we provide to you. So that's the training events. The training we just put up on the website. If you go to CLIPA.com, it's actually on the website. So you can see all the stops we're making next year. We're probably going to add more. I think we're going to do some more, commercial trainings. We also train for commercials. So if you're an installer that's been doing this already and you just kind of want to tap into that commercial environment, we have trainings that we offer for that as well. So very excited about that. CLIPACon is something we've been doing for about 5 years, and it's been it's networking, really. A lot of it's networking and getting like minds together and educating people. It's networking and educating, really. So we have 2 days full of speakers that we have come out there, not just talking about Christmas lights, talking about how to scale your business and motivational speakers and things like that. And then we have a vendor floor as well, so we have a bunch of vendors that come in there. You can see the latest and greatest products. These are some of the top vendors that are in the U.S. And it's just a great event for people, like I said, network and learn. We will have some classes there as well. We're going to have a certification class on roofline safety. We're going to have a lift and aerial certification. We're going to offer a class for permanent lighting solutions. So somebody that wants to take it to the next level beyond Christmas lights, that maybe wants to install in February, March, April, May, June, July, we're going to have a permanent lighting solution where you can do that. So it's going to teach people how to install permanent lights, Christmas lights for residential and commercial.
Perfect.
Yeah.
See, that's awesome. Like I said, that that they have resources just like the ClipperCon, these kind of trainings and all of that. And that's a kind of good segue into the next question that I want to ask you is, why should a pressure washing business? Because our main audience here at Pressure Washing Marketing Pros, our podcast, our YouTube is mainly pressure washing businesses, right? And I know that for you guys probably have landscapers that do this, but you probably see a majority of your clientele also, in the exterior cleaning industry as well. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Definitely. I think that's one of our biggest markets is the pressure washing, power washing, exterior cleaning. And a lot of these guys, Midwest, East Coast, they slow down during the wintertime, and we like to say, why slow down? Why not speed up? And I've got people that are doing more in Christmas lights in 4 months than they are doing all year in the pressure washing, power washing industry. No, literally. And a few we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But yeah, they are. And it's, don't lay off your employees, transition them into Christmas lights, during that time of the season. And it's such a great profit margin too. I mean, it's, people hear what the profit margins are, the capabilities are, as long as you're pricing it right and you stick to our guidelines and what we tell you, your profit margins, these guys are blown away. Like, wow, I can make that much. Yes, you can make that much. And as long as you do it right and you go into it with the right mindset, you have an ability to make some pretty good money in this.
Yes, because a lot of guys will ask me the question and they'll say like, can this work in any market, right? If I'm in like, let's just say Fairfield, Connecticut, or if I'm in Des Moines, Idaho, I want to say Iowa. I like, look, guys, do not get on me about my geography skills, but like if I'm in like Omaha, Nebraska or something, like could this work? You know what I mean? Because I get that question all the time.
Yeah, for sure. It really can. And I hear the same thing, from people that are in my trainings, and they're excited because like, oh, nobody does it. Like, nobody does this out in this area. So you're going to be the first one in that market. Now, if you're a population of, 300 people in a small little podunk town, it might be a little bit more difficult. You might have to expand your area that you service. But yeah, as long as there's population, and people don't think about this. I didn't even know that's an industry. I didn't even know that's there's opportunity there. They don't think about that stuff. So it is an industry, and it's a huge industry. And people recognize that and realize that once they get into it, they see the potential. Their first year, get your feet wet, and then they're hungry the next year. They really are. These installers are excited for the next season. I try to tell them, hey, go out there with the first year and go strong, but you're going to learn a lot. The next year, you're going to be hungry for it.
Yeah, and see, and and you put it perfectly, right? Because a lot of people don't recognize this industry. And so even if you are in a population that has even 30,000 of, 60,000
Yeah.
people, whatever it may be, if you're the only one doing that, let's say that you install lights on just even, let's just say your average ticket, average ticket's like, let's just say $1,000, right? Your average in 800 to 1,000. If you just do 100 homes, you know what I mean? Like you're adding anywhere between like 45,000 to $100,000. And like you said, in a couple of months, just starting off, right?
Yeah. And,
So
and at a 75-80% profit margin is pretty enticing. So, and that's not the first year. I don't want to mislead people that you're going to make a 75 to 80%
mhm.
profit margin first year. And we talk about in our trainings, we talk about, what you can expect the first year, anywhere from 45% the first year, and 70 to 75%. And I've had up to 85, 90% profit margin on certain clients.
Mhm.
The second year typically going into it, and we explain why. We don't just say this is what it is the first year, this is what the second year. We explain to you why that is. So then people are like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any examples of like pressure washing businesses that are just straight killing it? You know what I mean? Because I know me and you talked about it before. I may know some, but other guys may not know other, what, and you don't even have to name them per se. If you want to, you can, but can you talk about the potential that a pressure washing business can have? Because I know you touched
Yeah,
on it a little bit, but what's the potential a pressure washing business can have? Because I know you said that some guys are doing more in the Christmas night season than they're doing in their pressure
that's
washing
correct.
season,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I've got a few, and actually, I probably would have thrown them out there even if you didn't tell me their names before. But JC Janowski and Ryan Fox, those guys, and Brett Masson, that's Ryan's business partners, our business partner. But those guys are killing it. They really are, and they're both on track. Ryan and Brett have already done over $1 million of Christmas lights, and that's amazing. It's in 4 months, a 4 month span that they're doing that in. And JC is on track this year. I'm excited for him. He's going to be hitting the $1 million mark in Christmas lights this year. And that's a mix. That's a mix of commercial and residential. Yeah, your first year you get into this, residential is going to be your spot. And not to say you can't do commercial your first year. And again, that goes back to the tools. If you do have something, if you get into it, and I've got this HOA, or I've got this, restaurant that wants us to do it, contact us. We're going to help you. We're going to guide you through it. Chelsea Fernetten, she's one of our CLIPA girls. She can guide you through that and help you, and all the CLIPA girls actually can. We do so much commercial, on our end, that we're so educated on it. We can teach people how to do it, and people fear that. They're like, "Oh man, I don't know about commercial." We're like, "Don't hesitate. Let's do it. Jump into it, and you get done with it. You're gonna be like, wow, that was pretty simple." So yeah, those are two guys right there, and they're both certified trainers for CLIPA, which is great. Why not learn from the masters, the guys that are actually doing $1 million in Christmas lights versus companies that are just have never hung Christmas lights, or are not current installers. All of us are current installers. All of us are in the field, in the trenches each year, learning more. I mean, there's year after year we get together, we talk about like, hey, what else do you see that we can add to this? And we pass that information and knowledge on to whoever's taking our training. We are literally updating our training every single time we do one, and like, hey, let's add this, because we learn something new in the field. Every single year I'm learning, and that's what gives us strength when we're doing these trainings. Is we are, we're preaching what we practice, and that's what we do as Christmas light installation.
Perfect. And like I said, yeah, you're right. Who better to learn from than guys that are doing $1 million? You know what I mean?
Correct.
Because even if you just do, there's guys out there like the average pressure washing business, and I know personally, is going to do anywhere like the average one is just going to do anywhere between like around $250,000. So even if you do like in their busy seasons, right, or their season, so even if they do a fourth of what those guys are doing, right, they're still adding another $250,000 in that
Yeah.
to their business. So that's awesome to hear, man. So you definitely hit on those questions. So my next question is segue, and that is, how does a pressure washing business get started, right? If they want to add this as a service, like how can they get started, like, right? Because I know guys will ask things like, what about equipment, you know? And I know we'll touch on this later, like marketing, the Christmas light installation company, but I know guys will just have the basic questions like, how do I get started? Like,
Yeah.
like if I wanted to start today, which is like October 10th, like if I wanted to start today, like what are some of the first things I should do?
Well, training is the first thing. You definitely want to get trained, and all day long, people can go on, they can search forums, they can do YouTube videos, but there's little things that they don't capture,
Mhm.
little things that is going to save them time and money. And I've had people in this in our trainings that have been doing this longer than I have, 25, 30 years, and they come out of that training, they're like, wow, I had no clue. And I always tell them in the beginning, I'm like, I'm not saying every way, that I teach you is the right way. You might have a way that works for you. That's fine. But I'm just telling you what has made me successful, what has made Ryan successful, JC, the guys that are doing $1 million, what has helped us become successful. And that's what we're passing on, that knowledge to people in our trainings. Um, Yeah. So, with that being said, the trainings, and it's not too late. This is a good time. Ryan, again, he's doing, doing over a million. He didn't start till like no, mid-November, the first year he did this. He's been doing this for, I think, 10 years now. And he started, with a book. We gave him a book back then. We trained Ryan back in the day, gave him a book, and he just had to go through and, okay, this is what you do, read through that book. And because we didn't have any more trainings at the time. So that's how he had to learn, and he did learn, and he's killing it right now. But it's not too late. We have CLIPA, and behind the scenes, if you pay for a training, the great thing about it is you pay for our training. We've got our virtual training that's on our website. You can go through. It's 2 days. It's exactly what we teach in our training. You can watch that. We have other videos you can watch. We've got about 18 hours of videos on the back end of CLIPA. And if you pay for a training this year, the virtual or the online one, we don't have any more virtuals this year. You actually can attend one of our in-persons next year. And we really advise you to do that. Just, networking, and there's other stuff you'll probably pick up in those trainings. So we do a little hands-on the trainings too. We'll actually go on the field for a couple hours and wrap on trees and do bushes and things like that. So it's not too late. If they want to get started, they can definitely reach out to us. We can take care of that. And then as far as the equipment that's needed and that type of stuff, I think that was your other part of the question. Was these guys they're already ahead of the game. I mean, they've already got trucks, they've already got ladders, they've already got most of the stuff they need for Christmas light installation. In the training, we have all that stuff. I've got a whole list of, what you need to get started. Product, obviously, we've got sourcing for products. We have vendors that we work with. We're a vendor ourselves, so we've got plenty of products available for anybody that needs anything. But yeah, now, I mean, it's not too late. Once you start getting into, mid-November, late November, it's almost too late. You kind of missed the boat, but it's okay to get your feet wet the first year, get a taste of it. And then next year, you're just going full force into it.
No, definitely. So you guys hear it first, like training and all of that. And like I said, as a pressure washing business, you guys already have the equipment and all of that. And like I said, all this information, Matt's going to provide that. I'm going to provide that in the description. So you guys will be able to have all of the links to the training so that you guys will have that in the description of this video. And if you're watching the podcast, then it will be in the description as well. Right. So, like I said, thank you for answering that. I think you hit that on the head. Like I said, training and certification, because that's how these guys get started in the pressure washing industry, right? They get started by
Yeah.
YouTube University most of the time, but this you probably don't want to do YouTube University because there's sources like yours, right? There's resources like yours in that sense that can teach you, in that sense, right? So how
On that topic, real quick, I mean,
yeah.
real quick on that, all day long, I would pay, we charge $14.95 for our training. And, that's, again, you get the virtual, you get an in-person. If you want to attend next year, you can get access to all the resources we have. And we got a whole slew of resources in the back end. We've got forums, we've got contracts, we've got everything that's available to you. First year people, we've got photos for you that you can use for inspiration with clients. You're going through and showing them photos of like, oh, you like this, you like this, all the stuff that they need to, get started in this industry. Take the training all day long, $14.95. I would pay that if you were going to train me on how to do a pressure washing, power washing, business. I would pay that all day long. No, I would even question it. And then I could learn from the best in the industry. So just wanted to touch upon that real quick.
Yeah, of course, because I will say the same thing. People will spend all this money on that, but $14.95, I think, just to get everything that you need, all the training to get started. I mean, you could do closing 2 of those Christmas, you know what I mean? Closing 2 customers will easily pay that back, right? Just 1 or 2 customers easily pay that kind of training back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, like I said, guys, I'll have all of that linked in there. So the next question I want to ask, because it's kind of relevant to what we're just talking about, right, is how should a pressure washing business, they've decided that, right? They decided that they want to start this. They've taken your training, they've done all of that, right? How should they market their Christmas light company going into their first season? Going to their first season, like let's just say it's summertime, whatever it is, or let's say that these guys that are going to probably pull the trigger, let's just say next year, 2023, right? And they're like, you know what, I'm gonna do this next year, but my first season will be Christmas 2023 or Christmas time frame for 2022, right? How should these guys market their business in the first season?
Well, the first season, I want to say it's easy, but the first season you're going to hit your current clientele, and that's who you're going to hit with, your pressure washing, power washing, landscaping. Doesn't matter what it is. you've already built this clientele that likes your service. They probably like your service, for pressure washing. Otherwise, they wouldn't be with you anymore. That's
Mhm.
going to be your first stop. You're going to hit those people. Hey, by the way, we just added this service. We offer a Christmas light installation. They love your, power washing. They're going to love your Christmas lights. That would be the first thing I would do. And if you don't have that, if you don't have the clientele, you can go after your first year. We've got all sorts of different marketing avenues they can go. You can hire companies to do Facebook ads, form of advertisement that is very effective and almost instant is yard signs and yard signs, door hangers, postcards, things like that. And that's part of our segment that we talk about in our training. We go through each of them. We talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of each of them, and all the different aspects of trying to generate new business. So there's lead sources you can purchase Christmas light leads through as well. Again, something else we talk about in the training. So whether you do have a current clientele for existing business or you don't, you can be very successful in this. Those guys, the Ryan Foxes, the JCs, those guys didn't have that to begin with. So they had to start fresh, and look at them today. They're doing very successful.
Perfect. So yeah, guys, you heard it from here first, and you guys hear it from me on my channel as well. In the sense of hitting up your customer list, Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever it may be, instantaneous sources. Like I said, yard signs, all of that. So the game doesn't necessarily change that much when it comes, when it comes to that, right? Like I said, you guys probably want to prepare for that, before I wouldn't say before you need it, but like you don't want to just do this stuff like in the middle of, you don't want to kind of get ramped up, right? You would say, correct?
Yeah. 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 And people, ask, hey, when did we start? When did we start marketing, advertising, and stuff like that? Some guys are doing it in July, August, hey, we're coming up because, the season has developed. I mean, it is expanded from when I first started doing it. It was November 1st through December 15th, December 18th. That was your install time. You had that 45 to 48 days, window to make as much money as possible. The season is expanded. Now it's, September. I mean, we started installing in September. We've been installing for 3 weeks now. September, some guys, August, and we can teach you how you can do that. September through November. So now you've got a 4-month window, 3 to 4 month window where you have an opportunity to make more money, which is great. So it's definitely grown and become, more of an opportunity than the 45-day window when we first started this.
Okay, then. No, that's awesome. And I've seen that too for some of my clients. I'm running Facebook ads and even Google ads for. I mean, there's people that are right now that are just like, hey, and even if they're not pulling the trigger to get it done right now, they're like, hey, get me on your books,
Yeah.
because as we'll probably talk about in a minute, you know what I mean? Because I think I'm going to segue because I was going to talk about the light, the shortages when it comes to lighting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of that, right? Because there's a real reason when you say, hey, you probably want to schedule it right now because there could be shortages and all of that. Get on our calendar now or
Yeah.
be booked up. But that's
And
kind of segue me to the next question I was going to say is like, what are some of the biggest struggles Christmas light companies, have when growing? And then you can talk about the marketing aspect because I'm sorry to cut you off on that.
no, that's all right. And we do talk about it. We talk about objection responses. That's one of our segments in our training is what if the customer says this? What if they say this? How do you overcome those objections? And we give you about, 5, 7 different bullet points of ways you can overcome those objections. Back to the install, time of it. Like I said, you can start hitting clients up in July, August, for residential. Commercial, we start for next year. We're going to start looking December. This coming December is when we start going after clients, and a lot of them establish their budgets earlier in the year for commercial. So the cities, the HOAs, the hotels and things like that. So what we're doing, we do this every year. Chelsea goes out and she'll check out different areas, and she'll check out not just our lighting projects, she'll check out other lighting projects. And then she'll reach out to, those are our clients. Those are the people we're going after next year. We're going to reach out to them. Hey, we noticed you guys do Christmas lights. Just wanted to see if you wanted a competitive bid in this process. Maybe they're not happy with that. Maybe we caught the right, company or whatever at the right time. So we're marketing, coming up in December. We're checking out different lighting. We actually go around, drive around, and check out projects that aren't ours. And those are our clients, future clients that we're trying to seek. So I'm sorry, what was I kind of
No,
went on a tangent there. What was the question you were looking for?
no,
Yeah.
that's perfect. So my next question was like, what's the big, it doesn't have to be marketing wise, just in general. What are some of the biggest struggles that you've seen when growing a Christmas light company? What are some of the biggest struggles? It can be marketing related, labor, it can be any kind of related shortages, whatever it may be. What are some of the biggest struggles that you see when growing a Christmas light company?
I'll have 100% say labor, finding labor, at least for me, and this goes back to guys, that have an existing company and they have to lay people off and then rehire. You don't have to do that anymore with the Christmas lights. You just transition them right into Christmas lights. And then once Christmas lights is over, you transition into, back into pressure washing, power washing. So you don't have to do that. For me, I have year-round employees. I mean, we have, sales and marketing and, and all that stuff. I don't have a crew that I can hire, every single, or I have to hire every single year is what I have to hire. I do have an operations manager that I keep on throughout the year. But we have to hire installers every single year. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge, is, getting employees in here and retraining every single year for the install side of it. I would say that's a big challenge, but we persevere every single year. We find it, we figure out a way to do it. And that's how I've always operated my businesses is I'll find out a way. I'll figure it out. We'll figure out a way to do it. We'll get it taken care of. And that's one thing I like to pride myself on is we've never lost a customer based on customer service, or anything like that. We've lost customers because they changed ownership or whatever, whatever may happen. But we pride ourselves on customer service and taking care of the customers. Whatever it takes, we will make sure we're taking care of them, and that includes the anybody that does our trainings too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like I said, so even when it comes to a hiring system, because I know guys have difficulty with that in the pressure washing industry, and that's what I hear is one of the most difficult challenges. It's going to just be getting jobs, which you're going to already touch on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like I said, it's going to be labor, right? Do you have a system? And it goes back to the point of you talking about, which can segue us into my next, question, because when it comes to, because I know I was going to ask like tips on recruitment and finding installers. So I will say this. I know you guys probably cover that in your training. You know what I mean? But are there any tips that you may have? Like, you don't have to go specific, but are there any tips that you have? Because I know that you talked about utilizing your own guys, and I agree with that, right? You want to utilize your own guys that you already have because it's going to build
Yeah.
loyalty. And when you
Yeah.
have training, you don't have to just keep retraining guys over and over again if they're already on that. It's going to get guys more sticky. But any tips on like not necessarily like retaining, but like where do you find certain guys? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't have a magic bullet for finding, guys. I do have somewhat of a lot of things that we can use to, once you get them, keep them incentivized.
Okay.
How can we pay them more? How can we, without actually paying them more?
Mhm.
In one example is tips. How do we collect tips? So we have a few different companies we work with where we can automate that stuff, for the tip processing. But we teach you how to retain employees. What once you get them, how can you keep them, type thing, or what's the different ways to go into this industry and incentivize them based on bonuses or this or whatever. As far as finding them, we do all sorts of stuff. We do job boards at colleges. We do Craigslist. Believe it or not. That's probably one of our biggest avenues for finding employees. Craigslist. We've tried Indeed. We found some good employees. So it is a struggle these days. This is you're dealing with the McDonald's, that's paying, 18, $20 an hour plus, incentive bonus, $500 signing bonus, things like that. So we're competing with that. But we were finding our employees and we have ways to keep them around by incentivizing them.
Perfect. Like I said, so even with that, that kind of segues into my next question. I was going to say the importance of training and certifications because, like I said, you probably know about that when it's talking about commercial jobs because, like you said, one of the biggest things that people have is I don't know if I can do this or I don't know, how this is going to go. Like I don't, I have this 4-story house that I'm doing. So do you want to touch on like the importance of why people need to get trained, why they need to get certified, not only from the employee aspect of retention and their safety as well, right? But just when it comes
Yeah.
to general, you know what I mean? Knowing what you're doing, not losing customers, all of that. So do you want to touch on like the importance of training and certifications?
Yeah, I think the training, besides learning little tidbits that is going to save you time and money, everything. It's talking about products. Why should I use this? I can show you a way to use a certain light line where you're going to save yourself for every 1,000 feet. You're going to save yourself $200 for every 1,000 feet you're decorating. And people really don't think about, man, I didn't even think about that. I've got people in my training that are using, a certain amount of spacing on roof lines that are like, I'm switching everything over to, what you said, Matt, because that made sense. And it's not just, hey, Jonathan, you should use this. It's why do I tell you you should use this? Because it's going to save you money. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you all sorts of stuff. So the training is very important. There's little tidbits you're going to catch in there. And the nice thing about our training is we have those videos, like I talked about. The training is available online. So if you want to sit your crews down after you go through the training process, you watch the videos, whatever. After you do that, you can show your employees too. Hey guys, I want you to sit down. I want you to watch Matt, wrap a tree. I want you to watch this. I want you to watch this. How to make a extension cord. We teach people how to make their extension cords. So it's little things like that. Man, I used to just go Home Depot and buy 8 foot, 9 foot, 11 foot, extension cords. Now I make my own. So little things like that, that's going to save you in the long run. It's going to save you time and money. So I can't stress enough, getting the training. And, again, people try to learn on YouTube, and I'm not saying you can't learn on YouTube or find videos that are available out there. But I feel that we have the best training out there, in the nation. And, sorry, there it goes.
The minute mark, you know what I mean? You said you predicted it.
So, again, I feel that we have the best training out there, and you're not going to walk away from our training saying, man, that really wasn't worth it. It's going to be worth it. So, I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So one of the last questions I want to ask you, because a lot of people may not know this about you, right? In that sense that obviously, like I said, you have your own company called Celebration Holiday Studio, right? Celebration
Yeah.
Holiday Studio, commercial light installs all around Southern California. But what people may not know that is that you grew. We talked about this a little, before we did this, right? That we talked about. You grew a marketing agency to 6.5 million, right? So you've
Yeah.
obviously had multiple $1 million, you know what I mean, kind of businesses that you've ran. What is like just one thing that you would tell aspiring like entrepreneurs? Because obviously, you've been successful in running like businesses. Like, what is that one nugget that you would say, like, look, this is what I can tell you in the sense of,
Yeah.
you know, running a business. This is one thing I can tell you, right? I like asking this at the end because everybody has different things, right? It's good to know that.
There's a lot of things I could tell you in running a successful business, for
I'm sure.
everything I do. I always want to do better. I always want to achieve more. And, did I know going into this, this marketing company, did I know how to run a marketing company and build a marketing company? No, I didn't, but I figured it out. I'm always trying to figure things out. I'm always learning. That's one thing, is always be learning. We'll learn new things, whatever it is, learn it. But it's going to be hard work and dedication for me. I believe in myself. Anytime something comes across, my desk, I believe in myself enough to know that I can, get it done. So I think that's one of the biggest things. And I'm not scared of hard work. I've never been scared of hard work. I believe that, you need to start in the trenches. In order for me to teach you something, I have to be actively, hands-on in it myself in order to train you properly or have done it before. So I've spun signs, I've, hung balloons or, put balloons up. I've done all that stuff. And towards the end, I wasn't doing that stuff. No, because I created this empire, whatever you want to call an empire. I don't know if 6.5 million is an empire, but I like to think so. But
That's kind of an empire. I mean, that's
with 500 employees, and I've worked my way up, and through this, from working, doing paper routes to pizza delivery to working at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. But when I worked at Ruth's Chris, it was never okay to be a busboy, and that's where I started. It was, I wanted the next level. I wanted to be the next. So I'm always trying to excel. If there's not an opportunity for excel, that's not going to work for me. I always want something that's going to take me to the next level, and I'm going to find my way to the next level. So that's the way I've always believed in myself. That I always want more out of it. And the girls will always tell you, oh, he wants to do this, 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 this. Sometimes you got to ground yourself, and think about it like, okay, let's slow down. Let's make sure that we focus on what we're doing now and make it strong and make it a good business, and then we can add other elements to it. So I think that's it. Believe it in yourself. I think that's probably the biggest thing. And hard work and effort. That's really what you got to put into it. You have to have the mindset of, they have two different mindsets out there. They get a fixed mindset and they have a growth mindset. So you've got to have that growth mindset in order to excel and do well.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right about that. I definitely agree with you. And I know that one of my weaknesses as myself was that I have a growth mindset, definitely, but I can get a little arrogant about things.
Yeah.
When it comes to like, I probably already know how to do that a little bit. I don't need to know much more about that. But like you said, you want to have continuous growth. Now, I know I'm a hard worker, but I know that what can hold me back is that. And so thank you for those words of wisdom in that sense. You know what I mean? Being yourself, having all of that. So yeah, man, like I said, I appreciate you, you know what I mean, taking your time and joining us and like educating us on how to market, how to hire, how to start, you know what I mean, a Christmas light installation company for a pressure washing business specifically, because that's the majority of our audience, right? So for the people, where can they find you at, right? When it comes to, your guys' next event too, because I know you guys have CLIPA out in Las Vegas. And like I said, all of this stuff will be linked in the description. But for those people that may be listening as well, right? Where can they find you at when it comes to training, certifications, CLIPA, just they want general information about you, where can they find you at?
They can go to CLIPA.com. They can get some information there. We have contact forms. If they submit a contact form, they want more information, they'll get assigned to one of our reps, and then they can, they'll get with them and they'll talk about the events that we have coming up. But directly on the website, we have on our slider that goes across the top of the web page is all of our events for next year. We just added it this last week. So check out, the locations we're going to be at. We're all across the US. We'll probably add more, if I'd imagine. So our next event that we actually have in person is going to be CLIPA, and that's March 23rd through the 25th of next year. Very excited. So, we had it in Nashville this year, and there was, we had, probably about 170 people there, attendees, plus, vendors and stuff like that, speakers, probably over 200 people. And it was a great event, and it's networking, and it's just meeting the guys that are doing over $1 million, 2 million, some of these guys. So it's just networking opportunity and, seeing the, top vendors in the US. So CLIPA.com is the source. If you're an existing installer and you need product, we also have another company called WeSellChristmasLights.com. So they can visit that site, or they can submit a form on CLIPA and we can talk about all that stuff. But yeah, we're here to help people and, help them take this business to the next level. And we hope we can help anybody do that. Not too late.
All right then. Well, guys, this is a conclusion of this video. Like I said, I want to take Matt. I know Matt's a very busy guy, but like I said, once again, I appreciate you for, taking your time out and educating us on, Christmas lights and how we can get started.
Yeah, you bet. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching the video. If you guys have more information, you guys have thoughts, comments, whatever, leave them below and I'll make sure that I can answer them. But other than that, though, I'll see you guys in the next video.